Hey everyone, Dan here. We are just after market close on Tuesday, June 1st. We are going to take a look at SoFi's first day trading as ticker SOFI. And before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. Let's jump right in. So it was an exciting day today, as I think we all expected. We started off forming a bit of a gap here that pretty promptly got filled. I wouldn't typically count the pre-market fill because the volume is probably so low. So came down here, filled the gap, had a nice bounce, and then basically kept on trucking. Got stuck here for a little bit, and this is where I was watching this closely, right around this $21, because as it got stuck under here and there was support that turned to resistance, and then as it was trying to gain support again, this was where I was tweeting, if you go look at my Twitter from today, about making another run at 22, because we had this double top here, and every time since then that we had approached it, we had been sort of stalled out. But you see right here at the 15:35 5-minute interval, it got support there, made an attempt, and then came down and tested it again and confirmed it again. So that's actually a very good sign. I much prefer this kind of a situation, even though you're kind of holding your breath there for a second, where it quickly reconfirms a super important support level. Because it had previously topped out here and topped out here, we're essentially looking at a triple top here. And the fact that it was able to get support and then quickly confirm that support, that should be an incredibly strong level for it at this point. So that's the next thing that I'm going to be looking for, is really strong support at 22 in case we need it throughout the day tomorrow, or even in the after hours here, if some profit taking starts to come into play. There is also, I don't know if this will really evolve into anything significant, but there is definitely a bit of a channel forming here, which could be a really nice way to play this as well. So you see, if it comes down to the bottom of the channel, it has channel support, doesn't even need to get to that 22 level, but it has it additionally if it needs it. And then, this 2138 should also provide additional support if it's needed. There's actually another support here. It's sort of built this cushion of support, a really strong support, meaning resistance turned to support over and over and over again throughout just the one trading day. So obviously the bump up in volume helped, the hype helped, the funds that are including NASDAQ, certainly stepping in to buy shares of SoFi. There is the dilution factor hanging out there. There's the high short interest that's still out there. And as far as we know, there's still a very heavy fee for borrowing those shares. So to the extent that that fee is still very high, over 161% last we knew, that should aid in a short squeeze that will happen, since 30% of the float, last we knew, is being shorted. So sort of on that, let's pop over here, take a look. Let's refresh this again. This is Fintel, which will sometimes give us pretty quick turnarounds on these, but it's not doing it right now. So we want to see what the short volume ratio was today. We don't really have any info in our typical spots. So here we see IPOE, which turned into SoFi today. 261.6. Did I say 161 before? 261.6 is the fee to borrow these shares. Last we knew, again, that was just before close on Friday. The problem here is there's no SoFi coming up yet on this feed. And this is like a toy app that somebody built that it feeds the data from interactive brokers. So I don't know if, some brokerages are definitely slower to update things. I still have one brokerage who still has my $20 IPOE call showing as 0, like it's worthless, even though they switched the ticker to SoFi. So it now says it's a SoFi call. So I also had to reach out to another broker today. I'm just sharing this in case anyone went through any weirdness or is trying to figure out what's going on with some of their options or shares. I had to write a support ticket to another broker today to say, hey, what's going on with my with my option, it's showing still as IPOE and at completely zero. You guys haven't switched it over. And they wrote me back and they said they manually went in and made the adjustments and apologized for the clunky process there. So we'll see. But, full transparency, because we lost insight into how high the fee was. And again, it was over 261 last we knew, and that was on Friday. We don't really have any reason to suspect that it came down in any significant manner. But because I wasn't sure and because I had such profitable positions, I have 5 different positions in SoFi. Some are options, some are shares, spread out over 4 different brokers. And so I closed my 2 most profitable positions, or my 2 oldest positions today, just because I had made so much on them, and I was no longer sure what the fee to borrow the shares was. And that was a key element in me unraveling this entire theory over the last few weeks and building several IPOE, now SoFi positions, because of the short squeeze potential that I saw. So I still think that that is strongly in play. I really want to know what that fee is. I want to know if it has maintained, that really, really high percentage, even if it's not 261, if it's 150, they're still losing their shorts because shorts losing their shorts. Like losing the shirt off their back because, the price is going up so much. And so they certainly have borrowed shares that are now like underneath where the price is. So if they buy it back now, they lose that, plus they lose the fee that they had to pay. So there's still a ton of opportunity for short squeeze here, or for an ongoing short squeeze. That's why I want to see what the ratio was today, if shorts are still coming in, maybe trying to force some of this post-merger hype, thinking that it'll die off, force it down even further when it does start to come down. I guess the moral of the story is, it's often smart to take profits. I'm not just a sort of like diamond hands till you die kind of person. But also I still have 3 of my 5 positions I still have. So I'm still very much in this play. If we zoom out a little bit to maybe look at some areas that might be of interest or of importance to us, let me just get rid of this so that it's not just taking up room. Maybe we'll go back 6 months, get some better price action in here. So again, a lot of factors at play, but if you look at where it's stuck right now, this resistance certainly lines up with this previous support, previous resistance here. And so that is going to be in a very important area right there, that 2263. So I would look for it to, now that it's over 22, which, 22 was always a bit of an area of importance for it, more so in today's chart than in this 6-month chart. But if you can get support there, the next stops along the way that I would be looking for on my price targets up would be 24, and then something right around here, around 25. And then, sort of like reevaluation time. But even to get to there, it's going to take another 10% bump. So I don't know that we'll get there in one fell swoop or in one day or what have you. But this is, having called this out toward the bottom of this uptick, because we recognize the short interest was so high and the fee was creeping up. I feel really, really good about how this play has turned out. It essentially formed a very typical flagging pattern here, broke out of the flag, and is coming up to new highs. It surpassed this previous high here finally at 2178, which it had topped out at right that area over here as well. So it's very significant movement today. I wouldn't discount sort of like, the hype is going to die off quickly and it's going to plummet and people are going to lock in profits. That could happen. But I would just take into consideration that the longer that this price continues to stabilize, much less creep up, much less rocket up, that's putting so much pressure on those short sellers that hold, again, last we knew, 30% of the float, and we're paying a fee of over 260% to borrow those. So having to assume that none of that has really changed in any material or significant way, that's the assumption that I'm going to make, and I'm going to consider my 3 positions that I still have in SoFi as potentially very valuable because of an upcoming short squeeze that could continue to play out. All right, well, I hope everyone had a fun day with this one today. I certainly did. It was nerve-wracking there for a little while as I was trying to see if we could make another run at 22 and wasn't sure how it was going to play out, and had sort of an inkling that Power Hour could provide a lot of folks jumping in, sort of like the FOMO factor, essentially. I wanted to jump in before the day closed out and kind of potentially still get in on this relatively early. If this runs up to 30-ish, surpassing this previous 28, 26 level, then, those are people that are still making about 1.5 times their investment. So anyway, I will continue to track this one, of course. There's a strong potential I'll do an update on it tomorrow, especially if some of this short data starts coming in, and that way we'll have some things to review and updates to give, and we'll sort of see how it goes. But I don't know. I feel I'm just very pleased with this one because it's the first real short squeeze, saw it coming, and just pushed myself into the trade, even though, I have a tendency to sort of be like, am I analyzing this correctly? Am I seeing this correctly? But I feel really good about this one, and I went in pretty significantly. 5 different positions isn't nothing. So, yeah, this is just me patting myself on the back, but just because I'm pleased at how this one is going so far. All right, well, thanks a bunch for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next video.